So these drains enable farming by lowering the water table, drying the soil out, enabling people to build houses and to grow crops and have livestock for farming. So these small roadside drains collectively flow into the main stem of the river, which then flows into Te Wahura Lake Ellesmere, and so collectively they make up a significant amount of water that flows into the lake each year. And so we've tried to shift things away from just managing these solely for their land drainage function to say, what about these other values? It's that kind of broader focus that's led us to do some of this planting here and solve some of the issues that these drains suffer from, which in particular is excessive aquatic weed build-up through the summer, and then also you get a sediment accumulating as well, which is coming off the land and into these waterways. So before we did the planting, we reshaped this bank in a similar way to the far side there, made the angle of it much more gentle so it was less inclined to slump in. The cover also keeps the water cooler as well, although it's groundwater coming up as welling up as springs further upstream, and it's reasonably cold anyway. As it takes its sort of 10-kilometre journey from source to the lake, it can warm up, and so the shade cools the water down over those summer months. Cooler water holds more oxygen. It's much better for fish life than warmer water. Key lessons that we've learned from this project would be, where the opportunity exists, it is really worthwhile reshaping the banks. Don't just plant on steep banks. Once the plants are on the ground, you really don't get a second chance to go back and do that. So where you can reshape the banks, reduces the amount of erosion, makes plant establishment much easier, and importantly, it actually increases the capacity of the stream during flood events. Plant placement is really, really crucial. Putting plants in not too close to the water's edge so that they, as they grow, and you can see the height of these plants that I'm standing amongst, they're sort of up to my chest. As they grow, they might inhibit flood flows, and then conversely, you don't want them so far up the bank that they actually don't do the job of creating shade for fish and shade to suppress the aquatic weeds. So that's sort of lesson number 2, plant placement is really crucial. The success of this roadside trial has meant that it's provided a demonstration for many people who live in the community. It's stimulated some discussion around what should these drains look like, what's their function, do they have value beyond just land drainage? And that's led to us thinking about the catchment as a whole and how it can best be managed. And out of that came a project called Drains to Streams, which was really looking at the value of all these waterways, not just for land drainage, but their cultural value and their ecological value, and saying, how could we manage this whole network of spring-fed drains across a catchment? What were the tools we needed, not just roadside planting, but for dealing with all the other issues as well, flooding, excessive sediment, and a range of other things, and improving water quality. So that led to a bigger project across the whole catchment, which was a collaborative effort, a co-design project with a number of our partners, which has led to a catchment management plan and a guide as to how to implement these tools in a catchment.